the following statements. Depression isn't real. Come on, just get up and be yourself. Depression is a choice. These statements, you might have heard them a lot before, but these statements are what's wrong with society. Let me say this so clearly so you can understand. It doesn't matter if those statements are true or not. It's how it is presented. How it is presented. I'm lucky enough to say, yeah, I've never experienced depression. I've experienced lows, but I've never truly been depressed. When you haven't experienced something or haven't got as a holistic over review about depression, these statements are so insensitive. Extremely insensitive. Extremely selfish. Extremely ignorant. Very disgusting. As you know on this channel, Mr. Good Vibes Only, we have a nice time. But I have to tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. Life is very difficult. Especially as a young man, and I'm seeing it now. Life will beat you the fuck down. Do you understand? When you say these statements, if they're correct or not, it does not matter. It is how you present them. So, when I say something, and let's just say example. So, hey mum, can you pick up the dishes please? Or, hey mum, can you pick up the dishes please? So I said the same thing, but it's presented in a very different way. One which is a bit more like, maybe assertive, a bit louder so you can hear. And one is quite aggressive and aggravated undertone, right? When someone comes to you and says they're depressed, or when they say that D word, or the A word, the anxiety word, yeah? Let's name things here. Eating disorders, conditions, cancer. When people come to you and raise these issues, the first thing you must think of, and let me say this again, the first thing is sensitivity, is sympathy, is empathy. You have to make the person feel comfortable and essentially show, yeah, I'm here and I'm here to listen. When it comes to depression, okay, and most people will know this term, and I've said it before in my other videos, these terms, anxiety, depression, eating disorder, all of this stuff, they're very used in the wrong context. They're thrown about. Yeah? Listen, yeah, disclaimer. They're real. They're very not bad things that affect your quality of life. But yes, we know they're real. We're not going to question that. Scientific research has proven that, okay? But people self-diagnose themselves and use these terms so freely. People have a bad week. Maybe they feel quite down and they feel sad for maybe a long duration, and they say, I'm chronically depressed. This is the wrong terminology. Again, I'm not an expert with this. I'm very ignorant to this, and I can admit that. I don't know everything when it comes to this, but I do know how you present things and the terminology used. And I do know that the majority of these things that people put in categories, they're not actually suffering from these compared to people who are actually really suffering from these. On my screen here, I have, and my computer just switches off as I do that. I'll play it now.
Depression.
Depression. The definition of depression is feelings of severe, and this is a big word now, despondency and dejection. So for anyone like me who likes simple vocabulary, I'm trying to level up my vocab, but essentially it's similar to misery, sadness, unhappiness, sorrow, and woe. we all experience different emotions, right? As I said, in a day you might feel elation and very happy, and then something might not go your way, and you might feel down and sorrow. It is very subjective, okay? And you may go to one doctor and say, I'm experiencing all this and whatever, and you may say the exact same thing to another, and one will say you're depressed and one won't. Regardless of if you are actually depressed or not, you just need to treat it with sensitivity. Because we know, and that we know as a whole, that there are a lot of people that throw these terms around and say, yeah, I am depressed when something bad happened. Technically, that's incorrect. They've used a medical condition for a bad experience. But then there are people that are probably actually depressed and maybe they don't even know and don't seek help. It's all subjective and it's all individual. It's all each to their own, okay? All I can tell you on this channel, if someone comes to you and says, I have an eating disorder, if someone comes to you and says, I am depressed, if someone comes to you and says, I'm experiencing anxiety, a mental health thing, you don't say, oh, no, you don't brush it off and say, no, it's that. Or no, it's because of that happened and no, whatever. I remember the first time or one of the first times I experienced anxiety, and I told my mum this, and we've even spoken about this, and she understands. Even in her role now, she's more equipped. She has to deal with mental health. And I said to her, when I was 11 or 12, like a little boy in year 7, I'm gonna get emotional. I said to her, like, I didn't know what was going on. I didn't understand, but I was experiencing anxiety. The first time I remember was year 5 or year 6. I still can't swim, and we were going swimming lessons and I'd feel sick. And one of my friends, Linus, hope you're well. We don't normally say names of this channel, but I have to say it. I remember we came up with some term and he used to say like, oh, Yogi Bell or something like that. And I just feel, I would just feel sick. I didn't know it. And then obviously as time, and before I started secondary school, I would feel very anxious. And I would literally throw up sometimes from anxiety. And I never understood it. I remember I went to her and I said, I don't know what's wrong with me. I think I have anxiety. And she just brushed it off. Said, oh, what? It's in your head or whatever. She understands now, and you know, the older generation especially may not fully understand, and we are all ignorant to a degree because it's all subjective to our own, and it's very hard to explain what's going on here out there because we're all different. All I'm saying to you is just treat it with sensitivity. Don't disregard someone's opinions. If someone says they're depressed, no problem. Okay, so John, you come and spoke to me. Listen, if someone came to me and said that, I'll start crying or something, I swear. I'll be like, okay, listen, talk to me for 2 hours. What's going on? I don't even know why I'm getting emotional. I need to talk to me. What's going on? Oh, Kiri, I've experienced this, and this has happened, and this has happened, and this has happened. And I'm like, okay, I'm here for you, John. I'm here for you. That's all they want to hear. You see their face, and they'll just smile. They'll just elation. I feel like, oh my God, like someone's here. And whether John in that example, let's just say, just picked a random name, is depressed or not, again, it doesn't matter. Maybe from my experience, I pick up certain things, and I know John as a whole, and I've seen him a few years ago and how he was focused, and then some tragic event like someone dying's affected him, and maybe I'm like, okay, maybe it's more trauma and you need to kind of deal with it and speak about it and whatever. Maybe I can say, you know, don't limit yourself, John. Don't put you in a box and say you're a done deal and you're depressed and try your best. Maybe it's that scenario. Maybe it's something different. It doesn't matter. Sensitivity. That's all I ask for you, okay? So please be sensitive and say, you know what? When someone comes to you and says these things, I'm here for you. That's it. I'm here for you. Let's talk. Let me listen. Let me help you. Come. What's on your mind? Let's go for a long walk. Let's talk. You can flip the coin on the other side and say, okay, when it comes to depression, I do believe when you have that tag, a lot of people feel like they lose that hope, let's just say. So they feel like, okay, I'm depressed now. I have like, not an excuse, and please take it with a pinch of salt. I'm trying to be as abstract as I can with my thinking, but kind of like I'm in a box and there's no way out, and you know, this is how I'm going to stay. Depression is the worst. I think they did a score, and I think the score came back from my memory I saw it from Crohn's disease. I think the average person was 80 for like happiness or 70, I think. And my condition, Crohn's disease, it was like 62 in terms of quality of life. Depression was like 10 or 20. It was literally the worst. So we will never understand. And maybe you're watching this and you have got depression. You may think you're depression or you're going through something low. I will never understand what's in your head, okay? I will never judge you for what you have to say. And I will always be here to listen, always. Because that's all I can do as another human being who really resonates and loves to uplift and help people. But again, if we just look at maybe the other side, if like a young man, maybe a 20-year-old who's been beaten down, who's got no girls in his life, who's got no money, he's got no respect, he's got no like love, he's got trauma, he's struggling every day, he hasn't got a good body. If I could just do that, and he'll have a body, he'll have girls, he'll have money and everything. And obviously we know that happiness is inside, it's internally first, right? But if I could do that, would he say he's depressed? I don't know the answer. And this is the thing on this channel. Sometimes we will never know. I feel like in my heart of hearts that most people that are depressed at a young age, maybe like a young man like myself, it's because they're not where they want to be in their life. So if maybe they worked hard and time and everything fell in place and they were 5-10 years later where they wanted to be, that vision of them in the head, would they still be depressed? Andrew Tate, I know, whatever, say what you want about him. But the one thing I remember him saying is, okay, people emailed him, whatever. He said, okay, people were depressed and he said to them, come back to me in a year or two and with a six-pack. Come back to me with a six-pack and let's see if you're depressed. He says it very straight to the point, and that's something I resonate with, and that's true. But I understand his logic. He basically saying level up or become the person you want to become, or maybe a girl. Get what you want that's lacking from your life and obtain it yourself. So let's just say a six-pack, which is extremely rare to get, and you're in shape and now you're rare and people are looking at you, maybe you have more attention, you're confident in yourself, has knock-on effects, right? Your diet, everything, you may even feel better. Would that person still be depressed, or what they say depression is? I don't know. I have a feeling that majority of them probably won't be, but we will never know. So all I can say is I'm here to listen for anything. I'm here to listen, and if you want my input, I will give it. But if you just want someone to talk to or whatever, you can write a comment or send me an email or something. I'm just here to listen. Because the feeling someone gets, just like myself, when I was struggling in my past, not exactly with mental health, anxiety, as I said, and other things I've spoken about before. The only thing I want to hear is, I'm here for you. I just want someone to say, I'm here for you. That means everything. And there was people, but when I really needed it, I really had myself. And I want to be here for you and for other people. Because that brings me so much fulfillment and happiness. I love this channel. If you want to fix your life today or have access to my free self-improvement guide, all links will be down below. And if you also like one-on-one coaching sessions or like to learn from my Skool share classes, all links down below.